Canada seems like it's in absolute shambles right now between high interest costs to inflation through the roof, housing crisis, rental crisis, unemployment going through the roof, immigration out of control. And then now suddenly our government is in complete shambles. Trudeau is shuffling his cabinet. We've got Chrystia Freeland, who was the finance minister and deputy premier, stepping down. We're in $62.5 billion of debt. And now Jagmeet Singh is maybe going to call an election in the new year. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? But we're not going to focus on that today with today's podcast. Instead, today we want to look at some businesses that have come out of chaos. Seeing as we're in a chaotic time, we want to put our thinking caps on and start thinking, what can we do to take advantage of this turmoil? Because some of the best businesses have come out of some of the worst situations. So we're going to go all the way back in time, and we're going to look at some of the businesses that rose up to become prominent names through chaotic times.
You're listening to the Manning Up on Real Estate podcast with your host, Cameron Manning. We bring you the industry experts each episode who will help you man up on your real estate career.
Welcome back to the Manning Up on Real Estate podcast. Thank you guys again for joining me here today. And we are diving into a fascinating topic on how some of the most successful companies in history were actually founded in times of economic crisis, which we all know we are in right now, definitely here in Canada. Now, it might sound counterintuitive, but history shows us that periods of hardship can actually be a powerful catalyst for innovation and entrepreneurship. Now, we're going to start by winding the clock all the way back to the Great Depression of the 1930s. Imagine widespread unemployment, economic despair. Sounds familiar, right? Yet amidst all of this chaos, some incredible businesses emerged. Now, during that period, they had extremely high unemployment. People were going in lineups. They called them the bread lineups to just be able to get food. People were out of work. People were destitute. And yet you have a company rise up like Hewlett Packard, or HP as we more commonly know of it today. Hewlett Packard's or HP story is a testament to the power of innovation during tough economic times. Founded in 1939 as the Depression was starting to ease, they focused on developing high-quality, reliable electronic testing devices. This focus on practical and essential tools for businesses and engineering proved crucial during this time period. They weren't selling luxury items. They were providing tools that could help other businesses be more efficient, and something that was especially valuable during a time of economic recovery and rebuilding. Another great example that came out of the Great Depression is Revlon. Revlon's success during the Depression is a masterclass in understanding consumer psychology. Launched in 1932, they introduced nail polish in a wider range of colors than was previously available. This seemingly small innovation offered women an affordable way to feel glamorous and put together during a time of hardship. It was a small and accessible luxury that provided a boost of morale and resonated deeply with its consumers, a company we still know today in the beauty cosmetic industry. And then finally, another company that developed out of the 1930s in the Great Depression that we are all very familiar with today is American Airlines. Formed through a merger in 1930, that made a strategic move in the Depression. They focused on improving efficiency and streamlining operations, which was essential for profitability during a period of reduced travel. They also invested in new aircraft technology, positioning themselves for growth when the economy rebounded. Now, just like today, the 1930s wasn't the only time that we had economic uncertainty. Fast forward to the 1970s was another period of economic turmoil marked by high inflation and an oil crisis. And of course, more companies emerged during this time that we well know today, starting with FedEx. FedEx was founded in 1971 and faced a particularly challenging environment in the mid-1970s, with the oil crisis significantly impacting fuel cost. Remember, they are a company that travels and brings you your parcels. What set FedEx apart was the innovative hub and spoke delivery system, which dramatically improved efficiency and speed. The efficiency was crucial for managing costs during the oil crisis and provided a superior service that customers were willing to pay for, even during the recession. Now, another one is a company that came out of the 1970s where on my team, I keep being told I need to get a membership, but for me, it just doesn't make sense. But for a lot of people, it does. And that company is Costco. Originally known as Price Club, it emerged in 1976 with a unique business model: bulk selling at discounted prices to members. This concept resonated strongly with consumers during a time of high inflation and economic uncertainty. People were looking for ways to stretch their budget further, and Costco provided a compelling solution. Now, many of us, even in the millennial side of things, will remember the early 2000s, which brought about the dot-com bubble burst. And yet, another recession that hit. And we had some great companies that came out of that dot-com bubble, including Salesforce. Salesforce launched in 1999, just before the dot-com crash, but it stood out by offering a cloud-based CRM solution. This was a game changer because it eliminated the need for businesses to invest in expensive hardware and software licenses. During a recession, when companies are looking to cut costs, Salesforce subscription-based model became an incredibly attractive. They offered more affordable and flexible alternatives to traditional CRM systems. Then, of course, if you weren't born under a rock in the last 15 to 20 years, came the Great Recession of 2008.
This is not your ordinary run-of-the-mill recession. We are going through the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression.
And this saw the birth of some truly disruptive companies that are still making disruptions in today's economic climate. The Great Recession of 2008 saw the rise of the sharing economy, and Airbnb was at the forefront. Founded in 2008 at the height of the housing crisis and the housing market crash, many people faced financial hardships. Airbnb provided a way for homeowners to generate extra income by renting out their spare rooms in their properties. This was a win-win for homeowners, and homeowners earned money and travelers found more affordable accommodations as options. Of course, we also had the rise of rideshare, which came in the form of Uber, which launched in 2009. And they also capitalized on an economic downturn by offering flexible work opportunities for drivers at a time of high unemployment. This provided much needed source of income for many people. And at the same time, it offered a convenient and often cheaper alternative to traditional taxis for consumers. WhatsApp, also a company that was founded in 2009, took advantage of the growing popularity with smartphones. It provided a free alternative to SMS messaging, which was particularly appealing to users during a time when people were looking to cut expenses. Instead of having to get higher phone plan bills, they were able to download this app, and going over Wi-Fi, which you could get at any cafe or any workplace, they were able to send messages to friends, family across anywhere in the world. And of course, there is Slack, which is actually a program that our team uses extensively to communicate amongst each other. It initially started as a game company that pivoted in 2013. It found its stride in the recovery time following the Great Recession. As the business started to rebuild, it focused on efficiency. Slack's communication platform became invaluable for team collaborations, particularly for remote teams and startups. So what's the big takeaway here from all of this? Well, these stories demonstrate that economic downturns can be a breeding ground for innovation. When faced with challenges, entrepreneurs are forced to think outside the box, identify unmet needs, and create solutions that resonate with consumers. So when we're going through these economic times that we're experiencing here in Canada, what can you do to disrupt an industry? What are you doing from an investment standpoint where you can put your money in a place that will change the game? How are you operating your rental properties if you're an investor? I know I got a lot of real estate investors who listen to this podcast. What are you doing to stand out to get the best tenants? What are you doing to maximize your cash flow? Have you got a business idea that you've been thinking on for a long time? Maybe now's the time to launch that company and disrupt an industry that maybe needs some disruption. Now's the time to think about it, because during uncertain times, this is when we have some of the best businesses come up. Now, what do you guys think? What are some other companies that you can think of that were born in times of crisis? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, give me a 5-star rating. It helps out a lot. If you like this video, you might like some of the others in our Manning Up After Dark series. So click this link right here and make sure you check out other episodes so you can be caught up on what's happening in Canada and how you can go and disrupt the industries.